MMA Rivalry of the Year. Last year was Jake Paul and Dana. That was a pretty good rivalry. And the considerations for this year were Figueiredo and Moreno, but that's not finished. There's still a fight to be had there. Adesanya, chasing Pereira chasing Adesanya down. That was a good rivalry. Poirier Chandler, there was some kind of rivalry there. It spilled out into the media. Connor versus Artem was one as well. With the diss track Connor had, Artem is a rat diss track that came out. But the winner for 22 rivalry of the year has to go to Colby and Masvidal, because not only did we get to see the fight, but it got spilled into the streets, and now there's, legal liabilities going on here as well. Ben, tell us why Covington versus Masvidal was rivalry of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is one that we all kind of knew what was going to happen in the octagon, but we felt, I think everybody was on one side of this rivalry for the most part. Colby is the heel in most of his situations, and I think everybody really wanted to see Masvidal knock him out, even though we knew what was inevitable, once they got into the octagon. Unlike most people, I wasn't mad at, the little sneak diss on him, outside of the restaurant, dropping him, chipping his tooth, scratching the rollie, whatever happened. Colby's been a guy who even Fabricio Verdum in another country threw a damn boomerang at him because he's just that annoying. And, you talk, but then when you see people, it's on site, it's any place, anywhere, anytime. You say that shit, and some guys really mean it. It's not just a stick. Jorge Masvidal probably was salty after what happened in the octagon as well. Salty. So, I mean, he went out and did what he had to do. And shit, maybe that's why he's going to be getting that title fight, to take care of these legal fees that are coming up with Colby Covington. I think rightfully so. This was rivalry of the year. The fight didn't look so much like a rivalry because it was pretty one-sided. But the fact that it, like you said, it spilled over into the streets earns it the right to be rivalry of the year.
Roland, tell us.
No, definitely rivalry of the year. It has everything that you want in a rivalry. There's a backstory. There's history. They were best friends turned enemies. They were roommates turned enemies. There's, there's a lot of documentation on these guys and their history together. So it has everything that you want in a rivalry. You got two good guys that are good on the mic, talking shit to each other. But to Ben, I'll disagree a little bit as far as the whole, Colby's a heel. I think it's heel versus heel in this situation. And to me, Masvidal is more cringe. Like, I think Colby's a better heel than Masvidal. I was very turned off by Masvidal this year. I liked Masvidal, when he knocked out Till and his rise then, but kind of after that kind of turned me off for some other reasons. But I only disagree too on the taking it to the streets part, because he had a chance to do it. He did the same thing that he was trying to do in the octagon, which is put his hands on Colby, and he had a chance to do that. And he got dominated for 5 rounds, and he had to sneak him out in public. So not a huge fan of that, although I do understand what Ben's saying. If you say it's on site, some guys, they're taking it.
And if we're calling it rivalry of the year, it's on site.
Yeah,
bro.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just saying that, like, I don't think that
that's giving out fake awards, participation.
No. I'm just saying, like, I don't think that, like, for me, that makes Masvidal more of like, oh, that makes him more of a BAMF, or that makes him, the what's the award that you want?
Gangster.
I'm
not saying it does, but he kind of just proves a point to where this ain't just for the camera.
Yeah, and it's a real rivalry. Like, he really, really hates him, and it wasn't just for building up the fight and cashing out. Like,
it's bad blood.
Other rivalries are, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm with you, Roland. I think Masvidal does remind me of Woodley, the way he's cringed now, except, Masvidal's still in the UFC with all those losses. But that's kind of what I get from him.
Getting title shots.
Yeah, getting title shots still. But yeah, this was definitely rivalry of the year. Anytime, it spills onto the streets, it solidifies it as bad blood. And that's what we got in 2022 with Covington and Masvidal.
Yeah, it was like one of those, like, the bell rang after him, losing for 25 minutes, and he wanted to fight more. It's like, dude, let's stop.
Yeah, stop. Anyway, let's move on to 2022.